Kia ora. It's New Zealand Christmas time again. Short sleeve shirt, warm days, and dog sacking out in the background. The Christmas season is a delightful jumble of traditions. Why are we singing about decking the halls with boughs of holly? Whatever decking means. Why isn't it, as one child asked me, why isn't Santa there in the nativity scene? I saw a card last week with Yoda in the nativity scene. Is Christmas a Christian festival, or can anyone join in? Well, there are four main traditions of Christmas. Each can be valued and celebrated, for each encourage and challenges us to make the world a better place. The first is Winter Solstice, observed on the 25th of December in the Julian calendar. It marked the longest night of the year, think Northern Hemisphere. Following harvest, all nature seemingly had begun to die, and the colour green had faded from the earth. Death was advancing, but then, significantly, the sun turned. Light was reborn into the world. People rejoiced, feasted, and celebrated. In Middle Eastern civilizations, Syria, Egypt, Persia, winter solstice was symbolized by the birth of a divine male child from the dark womb of the goddess. Winter solstices, rituals in Europe, primarily involve fire and greenery. The most important fire ritual was the Yule log, symbolizing warmth, light, and the continuance of life. Yule, the festival of rebirth, lasted 12 days. Greenery was used to celebrate the triumph of the life force. In Rome, temples were decorated with evergreens, especially holly. Pine and fir trees were also decorated with streamers, bells, and ornaments of gold and silver. At solstice rituals, people sang and danced carols. Some carols, like The Holly and the Ivy, date back to those times. Winter solstice rituals have carried on century after century, with many customs being incorporated into our Christmas. The second tradition of the season is Santa Claus. He's derived from St. Nicholas, who was born during the 3rd century. His wealthy parents died when he was still young. Nicholas used his whole inheritance to assist the needy, the sick, and the suffering. Over the centuries, St. Nicholas has travelled a circuitous route from home in Turkey to Europe, especially the Netherlands, and across the Atlantic to America, changing in form as he went. The saint's name shifted to Santa Claus. And his mission also shifted, from caring for the poor to being a gift giver to all, including the affluent. He's also been increasingly used in the last century as an endorser of consumer products. Love him or loathe him, Santa is here to stay. At best, he's a symbol of generosity and a reminder that we need to care for those in need. At his worst, he's a symbol of our desire to have and own more, whether needed or not. All around the Santa gift-giving custom, there is predominantly a sense of fun, feasting, and merriment. The third tradition of Christmas is the Christmas pageant. It involves all the biblical nativity characters on stage at once. It's replicated in cards and decorations. And there are, in this scene, angels, white-robed and winged. There are shepherds, healthy and benign. There are kings, wise men from the east with their gifts. There is a solid Joseph and an innocent Mary. There's an inviting manger with a blue-eyed boy in the crib, usually. This happy scene is replicated again and again and sung about in carols. Although this pageant scene bears little resemblance to what the biblical authors wanted to portray, a lot of our enjoyment of Christmas is tied into this myth. Babies are wonderful. Families and communities and laughing together are important. Love is the essence of God, and music is the closest thing we have to a divine language. The fourth and last tradition is the Bible's Christmas. This is not about a baby, but about a man. The authors use the stories from the Hebrew Bible to talk about Jesus' radical tolerance, his bias towards the poor, and his challenge to those in positions of religious and political authority. The Gospel of Matthew, for example, constructs a genealogy to link Jesus to King David. Yet in that genealogy there are clues that his power is not that of a normal king. Women, scandalous sinners, and non-Jews are included. Jesus' power would be one of promoting tolerance and compassion, not ordering people about. Likewise, the inclusion of the wise men, Zoroastrians. The author was saying that the Jesus movement was not just for those who were Jewish. The Gospel of Luke talks of the mighty being brought low and the humble lifted up. This is portrayed in the place of Jesus' birth, a religiously impure stable belonging to a stranger, and his visitors shepherds who in the time were considered petty thieves. The message is that Jesus was one of lowly origins, standing with people of lowly origins, against the power and might of the wealthy and those in authority. Jesus' power would be an upside-down power, grounded in a life lived in a present God. So these four traditions, Winter Solstice, Santa, Christmas pageant, biblical Christmas, they all merge together at this time of the year, each offering us insights into how we might better live. And woven through these traditions is a sense of mystery and wonder, that light and hope would come again despite darkness and death, that generosity and caring for others would triumph despite the self-centeredness and parochialism, that dressing up, acting up, and laughing up brings communities together, despite the fears and worries that often assail us. And the power of a simple story of a poor mother giving birth in troubled times, even still in our times, somehow engages our heart, gives us joy, and evokes gratitude. May you be blessed this Christmas.